A very pleasant good afternoon to all the dignitaries and the participants from various parts of the country. I, Dr. Vandana, from Department of Computer Applications and convener of this webinar, feel delighted and overwhelmed to welcome you all in this way using technology that I never probably expected before. For better or worse, the present situation. May I request Sandeep sir to please check whether my voice is audible or not?
You
You are
are
audible,
audible,
ma'am.
madam. You are.
You are audible.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. For better or worse, the present situation has been an unprecedented experience for all of us with a new way of working and uncertainties all around. We feel very uncomfortable when the life throws a curveball. Shorts create ripple, and so is in this pandemic. This is like someone has pulled the carpet under our feet. It will further change the way we live, the way we work and plan. Quarantine, the word we generally found in dictionary and that probably we never heard before. Sanitizers, social distancing, and masks all are narrating the same story. But no matter how bad the situation may be, we can't go this serious crisis to be waste. In fact, it has taught us the tough lesson of life that nothing is permanent. Life may change any moment without giving any time. But I'm sure you all are set back in the new normal. Darkness cannot be driven out by darkness. Only light can do that. To begin with, let's first invoke the blessings of Ma Saraswati. Saraswati Mahabhage Vidya Kamal Lochane Vishwarupe Vishalakshi Vidya Devi Namostute. Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge. She is the goddess of art. Ma Saraswati, the source of endless learning. Ma Saraswati eliminates the ignorance. Ma Saraswati that eliminates the darkness of life. SCRIT is a constituent part of Chaudhary Charan Singh University, Meerut, and is continuously imparting quality education in 7 different branches of BTech, BSc Computer Science with honors, Master of Computer Applications, Master of Business Administrations, and MBA HA since 2002. We welcome all the guests, dignitaries, and participants, and who have joined the webinar and make this a successful event. For the formal welcome address, may I request the most vibrant, active, and versatile Dean of Engineering and Technology, Professor Hari Krishna. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Vanna. Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, in absentia, respected Professor Vimla Vai, the Pro Vice Chancellor, Madam, the deans of faculties of the university, Ms. Richa Goyal, today's keynote speaker, Professor Jaimala, Director of SCRIET, distinguished faculty members of various departments of the University of uh, in the campus, SCRIET, affiliated colleges and other organizations of the country, members of the media, excellencies, our very dear students, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. It is a matter of great honor for me to welcome you all to the webinar on the vibrant theme, Never Ending Evolution of Innovative Technology, Demystifying Data Automation, Intelligent Automation, being organized by Sir Chotu Ram Institute of Engineering and Technology, Chaudhry Charan Singh University, Meerut. The institute, since its inception, has made a notable contribution to the engineering and technology education in the region. In the last few years, under the dynamic leadership of Professor Jaimala, it has achieved new milestones. This webinar is one example of the same. The institute, since its very the webinar touches the data automation as well as intelligent automation, the two most important and relevant topics of today's world of computers and internet. We are grateful to our Honorable Vice Chancellor for motivating us to organize this webinar. We value his constant support and advice in such academic activities. Thank you very much, sir, for being so generous to us. We are also encouraged by the presence of Professor Vimala Vai, the Pro Vice Chancellor of the university, in this webinar. We look forward to hearing from her on the theme and for her blessings. We are grateful to the participants from SCRIET, university departments, and other far-off places for their participation at short notice. Your presence amidst us today provides tremendous encouragement to the SCRIT family. We welcome you all from the depths of our heart. Ladies and gentlemen, the world is experiencing multiple transitions. The old world order is vanishing, but the contours of a new world order are uncertain. Automation in such circumstances becomes the key factor to manage the state of affairs in an effective way. Hence, this webinar. I am sure you will be enriched by the discourse of our keynote speaker today and carry back home some useful and thought provoking ideas in the new order of the world. Once again, I welcome you all on behalf of SCRIT faculty and staff. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm really happy to see that more than 250 participants have already joined on Zoom, and people are connected through YouTube and Facebook link too. Uh, you can also get the link of YouTube and Facebook from the group, and here chat in chat window you are also finding the same if you are facing any difficulty as well. We are continuously sharing these links here, and please don't forget to fill the feedback form after this webinar because certificate will only be issued to the persons who will be filling their feedback. We will be sharing the link very shortly. Moreover, during the session, if you have any query regarding the topic, please type in chat window. Our expert will love to answer your questions if time permits. Friends, today's youth is a symbol of emancipation and empowerment. The prevalence of technology drastically affects many areas of society in positive manner, including education. Presently, there is a paradigm shift in today's culture, and almost all of us effortlessly witness the strong inclination of technology savvy youth in the name like Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, Discord, Skype, and the list is long. Now everything is at their fingertips. During this pandemic, the technology acted as a backbone. And today we are here with a vision to provide an uninterrupted learning to the students and learners. Now, let me take the opportunity to introduce the reason behind this gathering, the speaker of the day, who has happily accepted our request despite her jam-packed schedule. Ms. Richa Goyal, an associate director at IBM India Private Limited, has a rich experience of over 19 years in the area of business sales, delivery and IT consulting, pre-sales and account management in national and international arena. She holds BTech degree in electronics and communication with executive in MBA from International Business from IIFT Delhi. Ms. Richa is a thought leader in banking and a platinum badge holder in the insurance industry. She is also a technology avid, shouldering multiple certificates to her credit in the field of data science, automation, cloud architect, and cognitive. The blend of technology and industry knowledge makes her stand in the leadership position at IBM. As a leader, she utilizes her varied experience in playing an advisory role to the C-suite of various government and private organizations. Throughout her journey at IBM, she has received multiple awards like Spark Award, Service Excellence Award, Orion Award, etc. She has been recognized as the best talent continuously for 10 years and also received an honor from the CEO of IBM for Best Industry Cognitive Solution. Apart from this, she has also authored many articles, white papers, and filed 2 patents in her name. Without any further delay, I would like to render this platform to the speaker for today, Ms. Richa Goyal, for her insight into the topic never ending evolution of innovative technology. Over to you, ma'am. May I request Richa, ma'am, to please start the session? Because of technical glitch, probably she is out for a little while. Let me check. Yeah, ma'am.
Am I audible now?
Yeah, perfectly.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Vandana, for the very kind words that you just talked about me. Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor N.K. Taneja, Pro Vice Chancellor Professor Madam Vimla, the Dean of Engineering and Technology Professor Hari Krishna, the Director Madam Professor Jayamala, other various faculty members, not to forget convener Dr. Vandana, and all my dear fellow students today. A very good afternoon to all of you. It was so wonderful to be hearing Professor Hare Krishna talk about automation and how it has changed the world and is changing continuously. So I believe that today, this session that we have, I'm surely going to leave you with some thoughts and intrigued, innovative thoughts, which you can take back and probably learn more from it. I really feel very honored today to be given this opportunity by the authorities of CCS University to share my views today with all of you. Just to share with you, I keep meeting CEOs of various organizations, government and private across the globe. But somehow the actual peace that I find is when I'm speaking to academicians like yourselves. And of course, the students who are going to, I'm sure, be working leaps and bounds across the world and taking our world to a better future tomorrow. I think academicians kind of gel very well with me because my parents are both academicians, and which is why it comes naturally to me. But nevertheless, I think it's right in the afternoon post lunch, and I hope that this session will keep you all awake and on your tenterhooks to learn and grasp as much as you can. Right, while I begin, so as Professor Hari Krishna also mentioned, this is an age of technology and innovation, right? And we all know 21st century where we are all today, knowledge and know-how are the keys to success. There is nothing better. A very famous basketball coach, Pat Riley, said, if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. That is, we have to keep ourselves absolutely informed, reinvented on every day that we move on to. And which is why the topic today, the ever evolving nature of information technology, which has actually now become innovative technology. So one thing that I would start with is that there is only one thing that is constant in this world, and that is change. And we all need to keep changing ourselves and learning new things, right? With that thought, I will probably share my screen and let us get into what I want to speak to you today about. I hope my screen is visible to everybody.
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, perfect. Okay, let's start. So when we talk about information technology largely, the first thing which comes to mind is data and tons of data. There is so much data around in our ecosystem, in our Twitters, in our YouTubes, in our LinkedIn's and Facebook and everywhere, emails. It's all a function of data that we see, and that is where incepted the thought of information technology. And this has leaps and bounds, no boundaries per se. And it was very important that organizations understood, captured this data and make it into a form which is sensible and useful to them. And which is what we have done in our information technology umbrella, that we have utilized this data and how we've done it, right? To begin with, let me share with you a small video which you can relate to. And I'm sure all of you or most of you would have heard the term big data. What is big data? So we have two types of data. One is a structured data where you can see proper systematic flow of data. And the other is unstructured data, which is all over the place, right? Your social media platforms, Skype, your LinkedIn's, your Facebook, everywhere. This is all unstructured data, which is actually big data. What we say in our world is that this structured data as well as unstructured data put together gives us the vision of tomorrow. And how we do that, let's take a look with the small video that I'm just going to play with for you.
So we constantly produce a lot of data, for example via social media, public transport, and GPS. But it goes way beyond that. Daily, we upload 55 million pictures, 340 million tweets, and 1 billion documents. In total, we produce 2.5 quintillion bytes a day. That's a lot of zeros. It's ridiculous. We call this big data. But what's actually more important is what you can do with it. To process big data, you don't need huge computers. People work with the cloud, an endless network of normal servers, and powerful algorithms. This way, they can analyze over 1 million pieces of data in minutes. And the result? Well, for example, video streaming website Netflix analyzed the big data of their viewers, like popular shows and watching patterns. This way, they produced a successful series with the perfect combination of actors, directors, and storyline. Right now, the big data of traffic is being analyzed to develop a car that can drive completely accident-free all by itself. And in the future, we can even use the big data of DNA to determine the perfect treatment. This way, curing genetic diseases like cancer would become much easier. And that's just the start.
Okay, coming back to my presentation. So what did we see effectively from that small video, right? Data is everywhere. And as the examples were given, we are using it for Netflix today. We are using it for car accidents. We are using it for anything and everything, right? It is there in healthcare, in our hospitals, in telecom industry, for traffic control, for manufacturing, for evaluating fraud and risk, finance, everywhere. Everywhere there is so much data, and that data is being utilized for industries, organizations to grow, right? That is the power of data, and which is what we eventually see when we get into information technology. What do we do with this, right? So ideally, the best use of data is when we run analytics on it. When I say analytics, I think everybody is familiar that we actually analyze the data in various forms, shapes, kinds in order to produce meaningful results out of this, right? And at a high level, when we actually we talk about data being given 6 blocks of transformation, right, which encompass the entire world for us. So number one, data analytics is used for strategy and innovation. So any innovation cannot be done if there is no data backing it, which is very simple, very straightforward. When we talk about decision making, customer decision journeys, again, it's data. So let's take an example from real life. Today, you go out to buy a car. What do? We talk to 10 different people who share their data points. We Google search so many websites trying to figure out the difference between features. This car has that feature, etc. It's all data, right? And using that, we are able to decide which is the car that we want for ourselves. So that is the customer decision journey, where data is playing a very important part. Process automation. So I will talk about automation in my lecture further, but essentially any sort of automation that we talk about, again, has to have data. Otherwise, it will definitely have no meaning whatsoever, and we will not be able to receive the desired results that we want. Organizations use tons and tons of data to function, like universities of yourselves or colleges. They all need data: how many students, what are their marks, etc., in order to function, grow, expand. Everywhere it's data. Technology, I think, if the brain is somewhere for technology, that's data. So the brain of technology is all data. And last but not the least, the analytics which is done in able to identify the real goals and strategies is all done by data. So essentially, after these examples, I think all of you would agree in one voice that data is something without which nothing is possible in this world to function. So if I were to take a small example of how an organization utilizes data, or the analysis of data that we do, right? So anything under the sun an organization would need in order to reduce the cost incurred per employee, in order to increase the employee efficiency and productivity, in order to track and monitor how their establishment is functioning for any sort of audit and compliance, or how effectively utilize their capital assets and infrastructure. Everywhere data is the theme and the most important ground for information technology to function. And this is something which I think in the information technology world, everybody realized years and years ago, and it has been still running, and we have been able to now move on to the next steps of, after data analytics, what, right? And that is when came the evolution of automation in this digital era. And which is why I have always mentioned, and in fact Professor Hari Krishna also mentioned, Dr. Vandana also mentioned, that it's a ever changing world. It's this digital era. So evolution and change is constant, and we all need to evolve with it. And need is the mother of invention, right? So when we meet our clients from our organizations and we hear from them. We actually sit across the table and hear to what they are really looking for, what do they need, right? And which is where there are so many brains across the globe who work together to find an answer, to find a solution to their problem. And which is where words like these, automation, and the work done under these umbrellas happen. And I will share with you how it actually started, right? Let's see it from the beginning, how initiation of this happened. So long ago in 1913, when we did not even know, or the word itself was not coined, that is when Mr. Henry, the owner of Ford, actually did it in some form and fashion. At that time, obviously, neither did he nor we knew that this is kind of the first step towards automation. So what he actually did is, seeing the demand in the market, he wanted to churn out as many automobiles as possible, as quickly as possible, which is where he converted his factory into a complete assembly line, right? One task after the other, after the other, after the other. And believe it or not, the overall production, which actually took at that time, and hypothetically saying, say 10 days, now it was being done in minutes, right? So that was the difference which he found. And little did he know that he's already given the world the theory of automation. But now here we are, and now we can very well relate that what is that innovative thought process that he had brought on the table, right? But most of you, I'm sure, even today, would believe when we talk about automation, the first thing that comes to your mind would be a robo kind of a figure, right? That automation for me is that robo who's walking like a human being and he's doing certain tasks, right? But I think, let me just share with you a slight differentiation, right? In the 1900s, that was the time when the term actual robo was coined, right? And that is when it was already envisaged that robots are going to take over the world. In 39, the actual physical robo, and I'm really talking about a robo here, called Electro, was actually displayed in one of the world's fairs. And that was the key point in the history of automation, though the disguise was still robo. In 1940s, we started giving the robo some sentiments. He understood that he has to take orders by a human being, right? So that was another step. And in 1948, by William Gray Walter, what actually came into existence were two robots in the form of tortoises, Almer and Elsie. And how intelligent they were. They actually could move following the direction of light, and they used to make use of a bump sensor if there was a roadblock on the way and change direction. So wow, right? These were the wow factors which came into existence. But it did not stop here. On the backdrop of it, in 56, we came to be introduced to the term artificial intelligence. And I think that was a revolution, a complete revolution in the history of information technology, which did not exist probably at that point in time, but in some form and kind. And 1968, you came into augmented reality or virtual reality. I think all of you must have seen at least one 3D movie in the theater today, right? And what a difference it is. What a different experience where you actually can touch and feel, which is a different revolution. So, but having said that, this artificial intelligence was actually reached its pinnacle through Deep Blue, who actually defeated that computer who defeated the chess grandmaster Garry Kasparov, right? And NASA deployed its first autonomous robotic system on the surface of Mars. Wow. So I think no better thing that could have happened, I think, for the world when it was introduced to robotics or artificial intelligence. But having said that, as I said, initially also you would always think, what is automation? Is it only robots? Is it humans? Is it software? There are umpteen and many number of questions in your mind, right? How does data help automation? What technologies are used? What tools are being used? Is my data secure if I'm using automation? Oh my God, I think the list is endless. And the questions are way too many. I'm not sure how many of them will I be able to answer today, but definitely, I think I can do a little bit justice of at least explaining to you the fundamentals around it, right? So, in this journey of automation and how technology has evolved and how powerful it has become now, I think I would just explain to you through this automation continuum that we follow and have been following in the information technology industry. So through automation, we actually came up to the robotics process automation as the first leg. After that, we leaped on to intelligent automation. And then today, in today's focus, we have intelligent automation and as well as cognitive automation. So what are these and how do these function and how do these differentiate is something that we are going to talk about it. But at a very high level, robotic process automation is more about something which can imitate or mimic human actions. Intelligent automation is more than mimicking actions, they are also able to take some judgments, or they are enabled to make decisions based on what they have learned in the past. And when it comes to cognitive, it is actually going beyond a human intelligence brain, which we will discuss in futures. And artificial general intelligence is something which is tomorrow still there, right? It will come where I think it will, human intelligence will also get embedded into it. But for now, for today's lecture, I think let's keep our focus and try and understand something about RPA, intelligent automation, and cognitive automation. I think that will be too much to grasp for, but I think let me try and keep it as simple with real-time examples so that all of you can understand it in a better manner. Okay, so but whatever we have discussed till now, I think all of you must be convinced with the fact that automation, artificial intelligence is something that the world today needs to adapt to, right? And there still, in spite of that, and so many people under the ambit of this are still confused. They still are struggling. Whenever I meet with multiple CEOs, right, and we sit across and we talk, and they're saying we are so happy doing what we are doing because they have not tasted what it would be when automation will be there, right? They are very, very curtailed onto how they are doing things. They do not want to use or explore tools. Cost, they feel, is the biggest parameter, right? They do not think that they have the right technology or skills to do automation. But what they don't understand today, even a child can do this. And something is what we want to take back to this world of tomorrow. That if it is so simple, why not adopt it? Right? Why are we shying away from it? Why can't we just hold hands and make the world a better place to live in? And let me share with you some facts. So in IBM, we keep having a lot of surveys being done at the executive level or at the working class level or even at the students level, right? But when we do it for various organizations, I'll share with you some of the facts which actually came into existence. In any organization, what we really feel that 25% of any employee's time, right, senior or junior, is spent on repetitive task, right? Something which he or she is required to do day in and day out. And it can be as simple as probably swiping his or her card on the entry. So that is also repetitive, isn't it? Every time you feel so bogged down, Are yaar, office ka darwaza kholo, pehle swipe karo, right? It's so monotonous. Then the second part is 30% of the IT's time is spent on low level tasks. So when I say low level task, I don't mean to say that any job is small or big. What I mean to say is that suppose, for example, today you are I don't know, a BCA student or an MCA student, right? And you are being given a task to just keep filling a form, a particular form for say a month, morning, evening, 10, 15, 20, I don't know how many forms you're filling in a day. What would you feel? That what a non-value added work am I doing? It is such a low level task for me. I think I can do something better with the amount of energy and time that I've spent in my education, and of course the money, right? So that is what I'm saying when we do low level task. And last but not the least, what we say that all the organizations have certain processes, right? There is a process where, suppose for example, a professor has to enter into the college, go to that class, and then teach. It's a process, right? So these are all rules based processes, and we feel that more than 90% of them in today's world can be automated, right? These are all studies, by the way, right? These are not cooked up numbers. And when we give out solutions back to our clients, what we tell them, and this is something that we've experienced, right? 70% of cost savings can come through automation. And we believe that 40% of our outsourcing contracts will include RPA, robotic process automation, by 2023. And what we will end up saving is 5 to 7 trillion dollars to have a wonderful positive economic impact. Oh my God, this is like too much data, right? But all in the positive direction. We all understand, and the reason why I'm sharing with this with all of you today is so that you can understand the depth and breadth that automation brings for us in our walks of life. And it's got nothing to do with information technology per se, right? It's in our day to day. It's for everybody, small, big, junior, senior, everybody. I think it's all about how we understand to adapt it, which is the most important thing. Okay, so I think I've done a lot of talking. Let's again get into a video, because I feel a video can probably relate, you can relate to a video in a much better manner before I explain it. So let's see through a video first how robotic process automation works and what actually it is.
RPA is the software technology that performs transactional activities in IT applications in the way a user would. All RPA applications have the following structure: a digital input of structured data, and a process logic based on rules, conditions, loops, etc. to act on the data received. A software robot has the great advantage of being much faster than a human when carrying out tasks. Let's see.
So I'll just take a pause here, right? But just wanted to share with you, did you see the difference? When a software robot, he's having a cup of coffee, with one hand he's doing his work and he's already finished it, while the human who's doing the same work is really working so hard to get it completed. So this essentially is showing the difference between when you have an RPA versus a human doing the same task, right? Let's go further.
And they don't get sick, don't take vacations, can work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, can be replicated for greater speed, can work from any location, minimize risks as they are less prone to errors. The possibilities of RPA are practically endless, since it can address any sequence of tasks. For example, it can open emails, log in applications, read databases, access files, perform calculations.
Okay. So I think it would have given you a slight idea about what robotic process automation is, right? But just to explain it and I don't know if you would have captured that word, that we are talking about software bots or software robots, right? Until now, the thought that came to our mind was only the physical robots, right? But when we talk about RPA or the robotic process automation, it is about the software bot, right? Which can replace some or most of the human race tasks. But having said that, the advantages that it brings with it, right, are that Dependency on human, we are not bothered whether the person is on leave, where he's working from. Can we do this 24/7, 365 days in a week? There are no festivals, no holidays, nothing at all, right? And you know why? Today, when a pandemic struck and where companies like ours had to actually immediately move on to virtual working, 99% of the organization could make it happen in a matter of 1 week without disrupting any work of the client. Isn't that unbelievable? It was for us also, and actually for our clients also. But why we could do this? Simply because we have so many such software bots in our client environments that even when we were moving, right, when we had to move virtual, our bots were still running for our clients without disturbing the work. That is the power that robotic process automation brings, and the market is adopting like hot pancakes, really, right? And what we see and where we see it going, we project that by 2024 the global IT RPA spend would be about $17 billion, which is a lot of money, which really means that we will almost be nearing to automating anything and everything under the sun, and which will be such a beautiful world to live in, where we know that at least the majority of monotonous tasks are being done by bots, which will be phenomenal, I'm sure. And not to scare you that the human race is just going to go extinct. No, probably people like you, the future of tomorrow, are going to be doing more value added work rather than doing the monotonous jobs of data entry, sitting at a call center, listening to the client over and over again on the same things, right? We will be doing more researches, more PhDs. We'll have a brighter future as far as the human race goes, and not doing the monotonous task. So that is the reason why I wanted to share with you the market dynamics and how it's evolving, right? So in a nutshell, if I were to dispel some of the myths, so RPA is not walking, talking robots. It's a computer coded software, which is actually used or written to reduce manual effort, and used when you have to automate certain repetitive rule based tasks, right? It has got nothing to do with any physically existing machine. Okay, it is not about voice recognition, etc. It is more about a macro that is written, that is RPA. And trust me, it can be used for anything. It has actually made so many humans so sedentary, right? An RPA can be written to open your email, an attachment, right? It can be used to read and write to your databases without your intervention. If you schedule movement of files or folders, you can do it via an RPA, and you tell it, you software, the code is like that you tell it, okay, every 9 a.m. in the morning, this file should go from this place to this place or to this person, right? And it'll make it happen. You might not reach office in time, but your work is done. Nothing is stopping it, right? You want to do some calculations which are like horrendously big. You can probably software code it through an RPA, and you can make it happen. You can create so many reports. I think the use cases are endless, right? But maybe, why not, I should share with you some examples from your industry and where you are today, and you can relate it better, right, from the education industry. So today, and we've done it for certain universities and colleges outside India and a couple in India also, where the entire course registration, shortlisting of candidates and their enrollment is all done through RPA. There was a team of about 20 people doing that particular course registration and enrollment of candidates at one point in time. Today there are 2 people doing it because rest of the work is being done by bots. Attendance management, I think the worst, right? Everybody is so bothered about their attendance. Exam mein appear nahi hone denge, attendance nahi hua to, right? And there are so many people who are managing your attendances, so which is not required now. It's a fair robo where there is no tweaking. You cannot call up and say mujhe attendance de do, right? but I think it's made the university's job very, very simple, because they just need to click a button and get a report out, right? All your mark sheets processing, your timetable updates, everything today is being done through robotic process automation. That is the power of robotic process automation. And I think I have been able to do some justice in trying to explain to you what is robotic process automation. As we move forward, right? So this is not where it all stopped. So this was one thing which we saw, that was more around repeatable tasks being automated for us, correct? But I don't think the buck stops there. And everybody wanted more and more innovation there. And which is where we got introduced to the topic of intelligent automation, where human quantitative judgment. So now what changed, right? So our bots were still existing, but now what happened, that over a period of time, it started learning. And by itself, it started to give answers which were far more mature, right? Without human intervention, because it built patterns, it did predictive analytics in its head, right? To come up with scenarios on its own, which was another very important milestone. Again, let's see it through a video first.
What is intelligent automation? Imagine that every morning you pick up your backpack right before you go to work. It's so routine, it's become automatic. You almost do it without thinking. But one morning you pick it up and realize it's far too light. You've forgotten your laptop. So you get it. Well, guess what?
So see, this is where intelligent automation. So RPA was when you pick up the bag and move out, pick up the bag and move out, right? But it becomes intelligent automation when the person realizes, oh, I left my laptop because my bag is not that heavy. And he goes back and gets the laptop as well. So this is where that intelligence now came into play into an RPA.
You just simulated intelligent automation. Intelligent automation involves taking a machine taught to do simple, repetitive tasks, aka automation, and teaching it to adapt or correct its performance based on a lot of changing conditions at incredible speed and scale. Or even at a smaller scale, like cleaning your apartment. Cleaning robots can follow sensors to sweep every part of your floor, but add intelligent automation, and it can account for areas that tend to get messier, or even do an extra sweep to get your house ready for company.
Okay, let me just give a quick explanation on what we just saw, right? So what it really meant is, suppose, let us assume there is a bot, right, who's physically actually cleaning your house every day. So what intelligent automation will do is, after cleaning for like about a week or a month, that bot will automatically realize ki, okay, this corner has more dust, so I need to spend more time there, right? Or this corner has not been touched at all, so let me go ahead and clean it. So this is that intelligence coming into automation, and the backbone behind this is actually artificial intelligence. So RPA did not have artificial intelligence, but was normal automation software codes written for repetitive tasks. But when you introduce artificial intelligence into it becomes intelligent automation, right? So again, let's see a survey, right, which was done for the CTOs or the chief information officers of Fortune 500 companies. What they said, 2/3 of the seniors actually said that artificial intelligence is the fundamental to the success of any organization strategy, right? They believed in it, that whatever is the future cannot be done without AI. 45% of them believed that by 2022, right, they would actually have to use AI technology in order to boost their revenue. अगर ज्यादा सेल्स बढ़ानी है, अगर ज्यादा रेवेन्यू चाहिए, they need to leverage information technology, right? And more than that, 69% of them, or 7 out of every 10 organizations said कि we will have to replace our human roles with certain technologies, right? That is inevitable. That has to happen. That rather than human labor, we will need to have technology in the form of artificial intelligence to work for us, right? This is not scary, right? It is not to scare you to say ki aage jobs nahi hongi, right? And artificial intelligence and automation is going to take it over. As I said earlier also, you will probably be doing much better jobs and something which will be more innovative, and all the mundane tasks per se will need to be done by artificial intelligence or robots. And if you see the chart below, right, the adoption of artificial intelligence and its positioning, it is increasing by the hour. We have certain sectors who are leading the race in terms of healthcare, retail, consumer goods, automation, etc. But there are sectors who are gradually and slowly adopting it. And I think high tech, telecommunication, and education is also one of them. But I'm sure with artificial intelligence, universities of tomorrow will be nothing less than the whiz organizations of the world. And you'll see it coming. We'll all see it in our lifetime only, because it's not far, 4, 5, 6 years at the max, right? And everybody knows that that needs to be adopted, right? Okay, so now let me just share with you what do some great visionaries actually talk about artificial intelligence. And actually, some of them said AI could spell the end of human race. It is our biggest existential threat, right? Life Sinclair, the biggest innovator, right? He made a statement, artificial intelligence will doom mankind. Okay, and they are concerned about super intelligence. But sorry, these all big people did not want to scare us. They just wanted us to be cautious that how we leverage AI, which is very important. See, we've already always seen the good and bad side of a coin, right? The good side will always take us forward. The bad side will always take us down, right? So the essential part is artificial intelligence, they all know can be used anywhere, right? But it is for us as the human race of today to understand that we should use artificial intelligence to make our lives better and for a better tomorrow. We don't want to leave our kids behind in a world which has all animosity, all negativity, nothing. We just want to give them a very positive and a forward looking country when we leave, right? So that is the word of question which we all have to probably see, right? Okay, something light. So when you see this, what do you understand of it? I know all of you are on mute and would not talk, but largely what this is basically replacement of a human being who's walking down the hotel alley and delivering food to the people who made orders on phone. Okay, so what we have done through intelligent automation leveraging AI is doing things differently or doing different things, right? And this is so much nice. And I'm sure during this pandemic time, when the paramedical staff or the nurses were not ready to go near the COVID patients at that time, I know one example that I saw on TV, right? One of the Kerala institutes actually donated certain robos to a hospital, and in that hospital, robos used to do the task of giving medicines to the COVID patients, to deliver food at their bedside, right? So that is the power of intelligent automation. They know who, and they are actually savvy about the time to give the medicine. They know when the food needs to be delivered. So it is so much less work, and that way we could save so many of our paramedical staff from probably contacting this virus, right? The other example, so here artificial intelligence we know is here to stay, but we want to make humans super using artificial intelligence and not making superhumans. We do not want to get in those comic stories where there is always an evil person to bring the world down, right? So artificial intelligence should be more about making humans super, right? So, okay, so just quick examples as to artificial intelligence cannot stand by itself, right? So there are subsets of machine learning and deep learning which come with it. Okay, and what does it really mean? I'll just give you, I don't want to get into the English definitions, but rather explain through examples which are more real life. Okay, so so artificial intelligence example, Alexa. I think most of you must be using it at home or at work, where we ask, hey Alexa, what is the temperature in Chicago? And in the background, what is happening is it converts it into the voice into commands, process it, and then converts it into voice again, and then you have your answer, right? So this is the current temperature in Chicago is 6 degrees Fahrenheit. So this is the real example of an artificial intelligence. Now, when we get into machine learning, which is again a subset of artificial intelligence, but what it really means. So whenever you're doing a Google search, right, you are given a first list of few links as an answer to your problem, right? But if you're not satisfied with those links, then you go to the next page and the next page, etc. Right? So what is happening in the background? What is machine learning doing? Google is actually capturing the time of how much time you spent on one page. And if you shifted 2-3 pages and you've spent time there, so Google understood that you did not get your answer on the first few links and you had to move to other pages, the second page or the third page. So the next time, whenever you do a Google search, your answers or the searches that you get back are very different from one that you got earlier, because it has learned itself. It has understood that the links that I was sharing on the first page was not an answer to your problem. So that is in the background machine learning, which is again subset of artificial intelligence. Now, what is deep learning? Deep learning is the concept which comes through neural networks. I don't know how many of you would have heard this term neural networks, but a side example, say suppose somebody has gone in for a treatment of oncology or cancer to a hospital. So the machines which they have for x-rays, etc., actually utilize the power of neural networks in order to go down to the nth level, nth cell in the body of a human being, in order to identify where does that cancer exist and what is the periphery that it has covered today. Okay, so that is going in depth, going to that level where things would probably be very, very clear, right? Wrong example. I didn't want to take an hospital and an oncology cancer example. So very simple example, where you want to convert a black and white picture into a colored picture, right? So this, with the help of neural networks, actually they are able to tell you, okay, so if it's the trees in the background or the grass below, so then it should be green. The hair color should be black or a little brownish. The t-shirt color, they can paint it anything. So this is all something which can be done automatically with the help of deep learning, right? So few examples which would have probably given you an idea about what is artificial intelligence versus deep learning versus machine learning. So right, then overall example if I were to give, so if you have a collection of books, right, and if you want to translate these handwritten or printed books into digital form, so you're going to the word by word level. So and hence this is an example of deep learning. If you were to analyze certain data in that book, some bookmarks or some this page, that page of data, in order to determine the genre of the book, right? Where does this book belong? Is it physics? Is it maths? Is it chemistry? That is, so when you're doing that text mining, right? That is the example of machine learning. But the actual artificial intelligence is to give it to the right person, right? Suppose if the genre of the book is actually physics. So through artificial intelligence, you know that it needs to be given to a physics professor, or if it's maths, to a maths professor automatically without any human intervention. So that is artificial intelligence. So I think there's something that you would have learned through this aspect of artificial intelligence, but some real life examples of where artificial intelligence or intelligent automation is being used today in banks. Banks are extensively using it for behavioral analysis of their customer, for finding out fraud, right? For any trading bets that are given today, right? So banks are using it. Credit Suisse, the research institute actually does a lot of AI usage for collecting data points from research reports on how and where to make long-term investments. Where is our world going to go in future and where should we invest, right? Gmail, classic example of our intelligent automation. They can filter 99% or 0.9%, 99.9% of their spam emails automatically using AI, right? Netflix, we saw it in the video also, right? Where you have been seeing movies of this particular director, that is, you like this director, this producer, and this actor is something that you want. So what Netflix has done is it has brought the director and the producer and the actor all together to make a Netflix series for you, and we are so glued to it, right, during this pandemic time. So that is where AI is used, and the examples are umpteen, right? It's no end, but these are all cases which you can relate to. So now if you'll go to a bank, your bank, right, you will definitely in your mind think, okay, they are also using artificial intelligence, so to assess what my behavior is and accordingly suggest options. So that is intelligent automation for us. Now, I think the last topic for today I would want to jump in and talk about is about cognitive automation. This is the next level. So this is how we are evolving, right? When we talk to our customers always ask us for something which we've not done or not seen. And that is when we go back and think about it, how can we make it happen, right? So this is something that we are doing today, and we've so many examples, but I think still, we have much more to do in this area before we call it. I don't think that we are ever going to call it though, but this is where we will be. So what is essentially means, in a very layman language, I think all of you will be able to understand it very easily, that when we suppose if I am to make a healthy apple pie, right, what will I think as a human, right? I will evaluate which apples are best for making apple pie, right? And then I will think what are the ingredients that I will need in order to make a healthy apple pie, right? So that it doesn't get into that unhealthy frame which can affect my body. And the third thing is, I will feel, okay, the maximum healthy that I make, or I have more vegetables into it, it is probably going to give me very good health benefits, right? But now how cognitive will come into picture, where now we are already, so the computer will now start to remember first about what are the benefits of eating apples. Okay, what is the benefit of eating an apple versus eating an orange, right? And if I eat an apple, so I will definitely not have a deficiency of vitamin C, right? So this is so much knowledge, self-comprehension and application that I will get via a computer now, right? So this is how we have evolved. So अगर layman language में देखा जाए, right, हम कहाँ से चले थे और हम कहाँ जा रहे हैं, correct? पहले क्या होता था, when we just started computers, right, तब ये होता था हम decision, हम बोलते थे ये करना है and the computer will do it for you, right? धीरे धीरे करके क्या हुआ, कंप्यूटर ने बोला कि ओके लेट मी गिव यू ऑप्शंस, आप ए ऑप्शन चूज कर लो, बी ऑप्शन चूज कर लो, सी ऑप्शन चूज कर लो. फिर हम जैसे ह्यूमंस ने क्या किया, हमने उसको ऑप्शन चूज करके दे दिया कि आप ये कर दो, तो कंप्यूटर ने वो कर दिया, राइट? अब धीरे धीरे करके और कैसे उसके अंदर परफॉर्मेंस आया कि उसने बोला नहीं, मैं आपको 4 ऑप्शन नहीं, अब मैं आपको एक ही ऑप्शन दूंगा विच इज बेस्ट फिट फॉर यू, कंप्यूटर देगा, राइट? एंड हमने उसको हाँ बोला और उसने एग्जीक्यूट कर दिया कंप्यूटर ने. आज कैसे दुनिया बदल गई. नाउ कंप्यूटर अपने आप से एक चीज को, हमने कुछ सोचा, कहीं पे कुछ सर्च किया, कंप्यूटर अपने आप से उसको एग्जीक्यूट करके बैठ गया, राइट? एंड देन इन्फॉर्म पीपल लाइक अस, राइट? दैट इज द पावर. एंड और उससे ज्यादा क्या हुआ, अब अगर हम पूछेंगे तो वो जवाब देगा, उसके बिना जवाब नहीं देगा, राइट? एंड एलेक्सा इफ यू आस्क अ क्वेश्चन तभी आंसर देगी, अदरवाइज दैट वो नहीं देगी, वैसे चुप बैठे रहो, राइट? सो बट इट हैज सो मच इंफॉर्मेशन, राइट? और अब इवन बेटर क्या हुआ कि अब कंप्यूटर डिसाइड करेगा कि मुझे इसको बताना है और इसको नहीं बताना, राइट? they themselves know कि अगर कोई इस प्रॉब्लम का आंसर है तो ये बंदा इसका रेसिपिएंट है, इसको बताया जा सकता है और इसको नहीं बताएंगे. So now we've reached a level where the computer decides everything autonomously and ignoring humans. That is cognitive. Humans are there just to train the computer in the back end, और वो सीख सीख के इतना ज्यादा powerful and autonomous हो गया है कि they can solve the answers themselves. That is where we reach cognitive automation in today's world, which we are talking about. But I think you will have questions कि कहाँ यूज कर रहे हैं, कहाँ हम देखते हैं इन चीजों को. So I'll come to that. So essentially, again in a very layman language, if you were to understand, जैसे our brain sends signals to our nervous system processes it, and then we end up using our arms and legs to action, right? It is the same way where cognitive neural network study works, where the computer understands the queries, integrates it with the other various technologies available, and provides us actionable answers, right? So very simply put, this is how cognitive theory works. And the classic example, which you guys will understand very easily, is how a chatbot works. That is the classic example of cognitive automation. Example, आप किसी भी साइट पे जाते हैं, कहीं पे भी आपको एक विंडो पॉपअप हो जाती है, मे आई हेल्प यू, एंड आई थिंक मोस्ट ऑफ यू वुड हैव सीन इट. एग्जाम्पल पे, अगर आप अपने बैंक से आईसीआईसीआई बैंक की वेबसाइट पे गए, आपको इमीडिएटली एक विंडो पॉपअप हो गई, हाय हाउ आर यू टुडे, तो आप उसको आंसर देते हो. फिर देन इट आस्क यू व्हाट डू यू वांट टू डू टुडे, तो आप बोलते हो कि मेरी चेकबुक खत्म हो गई है, प्रोबेबली आई एम लुकिंग फॉर अ चेकबुक. वो आपसे ऑटोमेटिकली खुद से पूछेगा 25 लीफलेट्स और 50 लीफलेट्स, राइट? आप उसको जवाब देते हो 50 leaflets, and then he will automatically give you your address and your name and will ask you to confirm. The moment you confirm, उसके अंदर लिखा जाता है checkbook is ready to be dispatched, right? So now there is no human interaction that you're doing. You're all doing it with a cognitive robo, right? But that robo over a period of time has been trained so much it exactly knows what are the questions that it needs to ask, and you will reply and your problem will be solved. So agar wahan pe, so there is no dependency on human at all, right? It is self-trained to give such examples, and these things you will find everywhere. If you want to make a sale, if you want some advice, some personal advice, kaun si gaadi kharidu, right? Or any customer support where you say ki, you know, I had ordered for this, but abhi tak mujhe mila nahi hai. So you want to track an order, or you want to actually talk about, you know, call up your HR team or anybody and ask कि मेरी कितनी leaves बची हैं for the rest of the year, etc. Everything, every such thing is done through cognitive today, right? So that is the next level of automation that we have achieved, and there is more and more, right? But I think with these 3 levels of automation that I have shared with you, and this is what we share with our customers, I think the last few words that I want to leave you with is, whenever even we go to our clients, right, or the execs, what we tell them, think big, start small, but scale rapidly. As in, शुरू तो आप छोटे से करो, लेकिन आपकी सोच बहुत बड़ी होनी चाहिए. बट एक बार ही शुरू कर दो, तब रुको नहीं, just go rampant onto it, and that is when you'll see the benefits coming, right? So I think with that said, thank you very much for your kind attention, and I don't know if we have time left for any questions open. So Dr. Vandana, over back to you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. It was really an insightful and very interactive session. I have enjoyed it thoroughly. I hope the participants must have enjoyed and benefited with it. Let me check the chat box. Though there are 3 queries, and if time will permit, I may go for more. So
Sure.
one of the participant is interested to know that please suggest some RPA certificate and courses.
Okay, so I think if you'll do a Google search, there are many universities today which are offering RPA courses as part of their curriculum and as separate topics. So in fact, you can check on Udemy. is one of the platforms where you can actually go and search. You'll find multiple of those.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, one of the participant is interested to know that can we replace robots with teachers? I hope he is interested to know that can we replace teachers with robots?
Right, and I'm sure you can. See, okay, let me answer it like this. See, today our government is changing our education policy, right? Why? Because we need to adapt to the new world. Today, the same books or probably the same curriculum when we have, so I can say a portion of the work can be automated for teaching, but I think what we miss if we don't see human teachers is that touch, that feel, that knowledge which they bring through their experience, right? Which a robo will not give you. So I think you should not think about replacing your teachers, but you should think about how you can reduce their workload through
Yes,
automation.
yes, definitely.
Thank you, Richa, for saving our jobs.
Ma'am, one more student is interested to know that what are deep fakes?
What are
Deep fake, FAKES. Deep fakes.
deep fakes? I think he's not referring to fakes as in fakes. What he's meaning is more the in-depth dark areas, where what we talk about in our language as dark internet, right? For example, where we say that that is the segment where nobody can enter. That is where all that black money stuff happens, and those are beyond our periphery. So I think that is the aspect which he's trying to understand. I might be wrong there.
Yeah. Ma'am, questions are many, but I will go for last question of this session.
Sure.
Does nano degree programs provide a deep knowledge on deep learning?
Nano degree programs are a little different, I would say. That is more on the nanotechnology part, which is more of embedded software, right? When we are talking about automation, that is normal software programming that we are talking about. So I think nanotechnology is more on embedded technology, which is very different and which is more utilized in product companies.
Thank you very much, ma'am. The list is long, but there are few more comments for you as well. Very informative session, very interactive, knowledgeable.
I'm
So
happy.
thanks a lot once again. Um, thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you, sir and ma'am. I can see Professor Hare Krishna and I can see Professor Vimla on the screen. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. It was so wonderful talking to all of you today.
Thank you, ma'am. Now it's my privilege and pleasure to invite the Honorable Vice Chancellor for her presidential address, who is not only a true academician and a visionary administrator, but also a wonderful orator. In spite of her hectic schedule throughout the day, she has accepted our invitation and joined this session. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Vandana. Well, it has been wonderful for me also. Professor Hare Krishna, Dean Engineering and Technology, Professor Jaimala, Director, Sir Choturam Institute of Engineering and Technology, our very coveted guest, Dr. Richa Goel, all the teachers of Sir Choturam Institute of Engineering and Technology, and all others who have joined besides the Choturam Institute, Dr. Vandana especially for conducting the whole program, all the students who have also joined and shown great interest in this program. This is really a wonderful lecture, and I would first of all like to congratulate Sir Choturam Institute of Engineering and Technology, especially Professor Jaimala and Professor Hare Krishna, to have organized this lecture, and that too by Ms. Richa Goel, who has rightly thrown all the light on this aspect. This is, as the topic was, that never-ending evolution of innovative technology, demystifying data automation, intelligent automation. Well, it was very rightly said, because technology is ever evolving. The data has also become very big now, and the handling has also become technologically very, very superb. And Ms. Richa Goel has rightly pointed out that artificial intelligence is not simply artificial intelligence anymore. Now it is cognitive and applied intelligence too. So that is why it can be of great help to all the human sectors, wherever we are trying to use them, whether it is business, whether it is education, whether it is medicine, or anywhere, wherever we want to use it. And that was rightly said that for COVID-19 patients, when people were not able to reach up to, then such robots, they were of great help who could serve the patients because they were not afraid of any corona. Well, I would still say that science could be a great servant, but not a good master. So when it starts to be a cognitive intelligence present in these robots, it can start mastering the human beings, which is something which I'm afraid that many people would not know what to say and what not to say in front of such robots, what to let this artificial intelligence understand and what not to understand, because human mind is much more complex and more intelligent than these robots. After all, they have learned from human beings only. They have been coded for that. So they can be used as very good help, and they should be used as good help, but with caution. I have seen in many places where Alexa is there and they are using Siri very often, but both these would not recognize you once your voice is changed. They would not recognize who is the master now. So as long as you are their master, they would be your good servant. But the day you lose to be their master, they can become your master. So not to let them master is very important at the end. I think it is so appreciable that human efforts, after all, their human efforts would be up to a certain limit, because physically when they are done, there will be an end to them. But when intelligently they are manipulated, they can go to any extent of developing such robots, developing such innovative technologies. And this international business machine company has done a great job by inventing such automated machines and technology for all human beings. So I'm really thankful to Ms. Richa Goel for having given such a wonderful talk, very lucid, very understandable for any one of us. I mean, I am not from computer side, but I could follow it completely well. So you are a teacher as well, not only a business person.
Thank you, madam.
And thank you so much for enlightening all of us from the side of Professor Taneja and from Chaudhry Charan Singh University itself. I would like to thank you on everybody's behalf from this end.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you very much. The true thanksgiving comes from the heart to those who work day and night tirelessly without fail. And this becomes especially special if it is being done by someone who is in the center right from the inception till its execution. A request to the most dynamic, diligent, and energetic director of Sir Choto Ram Institute of Engineering and Technology, Professor Demala, to present a vote of thanks. मैम प्लीज अपने आप को अनम्यूट कर लीजिए डायरेक्टर मैम काइंडली अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ यस मैम
Okay, sorry. Thank you, Dr. Vandana, Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, who is presiding this webinar, Ms. Richa Goel, the keynote speaker of this webinar, Professor Hari Krishna, Dean, Engineering and Technology, my colleagues, staff of SCRIET, other participants of the webinar, and dear students. Intelligent automation simply means the improved productivity and operational effectiveness with reduced effort. But it is a myth that it is stealing our jobs. or it may steal our jobs. It is my privilege that I have been asked to extend the vote of thanks in this webinar, which is somehow related to unshroud these type of myths. It is a matter of pride for all of us that today we have Ms. Richa Goel with us, who is the Associate Director in IBM Private Limited India, who is an eminent personality, and the highlights of her career, which are projected by Dr. Vandana Rana in her introduction, were reflecting her expertise in the variety of fields which she achieved in a very short period of time. Her lecture unmasked what actually is data automation and intelligent automation, and which is a way towards a safe, secure, and a healthy life, and which is the motive of all of us. At this time, I would like to say that if intelligent automation is taking the place in future of the teachers, which was the question of one of the participants, whether the robots or the intelligent automation will take place of the teachers, I would like to request the persons belonging to the computers, belonging to the IT industry, that there should be cognitive associated with it, so that it could recognize that whom to replace and whom not to replace. Now, I'm sure that the participants are benefited with the lecture of Ms. Richa Goel. I, on behalf of the entire fraternity of SCRIT CCS University Meerut, extend my hearty gratitude to you, madam, and hope that you will continue to be connected with SCRIT by providing your guidance and help in the fields of your expertise to our students and teachers. I am also thankful to our Vice Chancellor, Professor N.K. Taneja, who constantly encourages and supports us to organize such type of academic activities to extend our vision to the existing world and to the world of future. I am thankful from my core of heart to Professor Y. Vimala, our Pro Vice Chancellor, a dynamic lady, who, in spite of her neck-to-neck busy schedule, spared her time and presided this webinar. Madam, we are really thankful to you. Here it is to mention that the Dean Engineering and Technology has shown his personal interest to make this webinar a beautiful event, a successful event. His commands and critical comments, his constant interaction, continuous interaction with the organizing team to execute the event beautifully is really commendable. I thank you, sir, from my core of heart, and hope the same encouragement and guidance in future as well. I am also thankful to Dr. Rajiv Sijaria, the Deputy Director of SCRIT, who indirectly helped us a lot for the execution of this webinar. I am thankful to deans, which I can see on the platform, who are attending this webinar, DSW, Proctor of the University, Warden of the University, many of my colleagues from this university and some teachers from the other universities and other participants. I'm very much thankful to all of you to attend this webinar and for your kind presence in it. You know that behind every event, there is always a workforce, and which that workforce is responsible for organizing an event with a beautiful start up to a successful ending. In the same way, there is a workforce behind this webinar. And first of all, from that workforce, I would like to thank Dr. Vandana Rana, who is Assistant Professor in the Department of Computer Applications, who have tried to pour all perfection in the organization of this event, and who is also handling the whole event very beautifully and decently. I'm also thankful to the co-convener of the event, Engineer Binu Yadav, who is Assistant Professor in the Department of Computer Application, for her constant hard work and support for the conference. I extend my thanks to some other members of the organizing team, in which there is Engineer Pankaj, who is also Assistant Professor in the Departments of Electronics and Communication, Ms. Savita Mittal, who is Assistant Professor in Department of Computer Applications. Both of them are handling the media reporting and media notifications. I like to mention Engineer Amit Sharma, who is handling our Facebook page, YouTube platform, and other digital platforms. Engineer Gurusharan Kant, naturally, he will provide you the certificates after the event. So I am also thankful to him for his hard work. Engineer Shivam Goyal, who was constantly with us 24/7 for any type of task assigned to him. I am also thankful to Engineer Sandeep, Network Administrator, Ms. Ritu Goyal, Computer Operator, and other staff of SCRIT who constantly worked for this webinar. I also extend my thanks to media who have circulated the notifications on the different platforms and naturally who will provide a beautiful report of this webinar in tomorrow's newspapers and on other platforms. So once again, I thank you all for your cordial cooperation. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thanks a lot for your nice words you have said for us. At last, with the permission of Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor Madam, I would like to conclude this webinar after National Anthem. जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंग विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंग तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तब जय गाथा जनगण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे भारत माता की जय जय हिंद जय भारत with a request to Sandeep sir, after this certificate, kindly end the meeting.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Sandeep sir, now you're free to please end the meeting. Our task is over.